morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Sling of Ages podcast. This is a special bonus episode. Actually, I did this interview back in January 31st, 2018, with the great Steve Porcaro of Toto. And this is before their 40 Trips Around the Sun tour. I just found it on my phone. So it was done by, like I said, on phone. So the recording quality may not be great, and I didn't edit Steve's comments, but it's a good thing to include as a bonus episode. So here you are, and thank you.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
I
that's
hope I didn't screw up your schedule or anything.
no. I can move some things around. I'm in pretty good shape this week, which is good. You're out in California.
Yes.
And how are things going? I know you guys are getting ready to launch 40 Trips Around the Sun. I think it comes out this Friday, actually, right?
Yeah, we are. Oh, is it as far as the release date?
Yes.
I don't know. I've just been so busy with getting ready for this tour. It's really quite a challenging set list this year.
So for 40 Trips Around the Sun, you recorded or re-recorded three songs, right?
For 40 trips on. So no, well, actually, those are ones they picked from a batch of 9 songs we did.
Oh, wow.
We did 4 new songs. We did 4 brand new songs, the 4 of us just in the studio, nose to nose. And then at the same time, we took 5 tracks that were from the vaults, from the tape vaults. 5 tracks that had my brother Jeff on drums. 3 of them have my brother Mike on bass. 2 of them have David Hungate on bass.
Okay.
And we finished those tunes. They were never, we had the basic tracks, but we didn't have, they weren't finished as songs. Melodies weren't finished. Lyrics weren't finished. The form of the song wasn't nailed down necessarily. And we treated them like they were brand new tunes and finished them. So we did that all at the same time, all 9 of those songs. And then, but then the record company had decided to put out, I guess, three with the new greatest hits.
Okay, so for the remaining 6, is there a plan for those to see the light of day?
Those will all be on the box set that'll be released in July, I believe.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, you'll hear them real soon. Yeah.
So if we could talk a little bit about, I guess, the first 3, and then a little bit more about the remaining 6, because I think right now Alone and Spanish Sea have been released, and there's an accompanying video, a brief video about both of those. Could you talk a little bit about how Alone came about?
Yeah, Alone was one of those tunes, one of the 4 that we wrote just nose to nose. I was very definite about when knew we were going into the studio. Luke is kind of a technophobe, and he's always used to having an engineer, with him whenever he's in the studio. There being a guy who just does nothing but that, or at least a second engineer, someone who's dealing with the actual recording. And whereas David and Joseph and myself, we don't need that because we record ourselves quite often.
Right.
And, so, the thing was to have the 4 of us in a room in the studio together and have absolutely no one else. No assistants, no second engineers, no engineers. It was just the 4 of us. And we were either at my place or at David Pace's place.
Okay.
And Joseph and I handled the engineering chores. Joseph did most of it. I did, a lot of the, what I was used to doing, synth stuff here at my house and some vocal stuff. But it was just us. So, and like that song Alone was written just the 4 of us in a room all at the same time.
Okay.
Someone I know, like on my song, I had a song called Chase the Rain that's coming out that is a new one, but I kind of had the chorus. I knew I was going to write it with the guys, but I had the chorus all pretty much done when I brought it to the guys. Most of these things were just written. I mean, they have, Luke goes in, he has no idea what he's going to do. He doesn't bring in any any preconceived ideas at all,
Sure.
like I like to do. I'm always afraid I'm going to completely clam up and, not be able to think of anything. I'm always worried about that. So, but anyway, Alone was written completely with us in the room, nose to nose, and just, we finished it that way. All the lyrics, everything was done and recorded. We just went to Capitol
So what was, so Alone stemmed from the seventh one sessions, or was it before that?
No, not at all. That was the Spanish C, I
Okay.
think, was from the seventh one session or something.
So Alone was totally new then.
Yeah, brand new. Hmm.
And you all, the four of you had never ridden that way before, have you?
No, not like that ever. No, no.
Wow. So if I recall, Alone features Lukather on bass,
I think so. Yeah,
and then the drumming was by, was that Vinny?
that was Vinny. Yeah.
How'd you end up with Vinny?
Capital.
How'd you end up?
We would record, we would just record into the computer with some kind of fake drums, you know what I mean? I would write a song and do our basic tracks in there, and then we brought it all to Capitol to do the real drums with Vinny. That's the only thing we needed. We were able to do keyboards here, we were able to do guitars here, we were able to do bass, we were able to do vocals. We kind of set up a cool vocal booth, both at my place in Davis, and drums are the only thing that where our studios kind of don't do, you know what I mean?
Right. Because I think for the last album,
for that.
yeah, the last album you use Carlock at Capitol as well, I believe.
Yep.
Okay. So Spanish C from the seventh one sessions, and they had a basic track of Jeff on drums and Mike on bass, right?
Yep. Yes, they sure did.
What else was on the original recording?
Pretty much the whole band, they really, Preston, they got the idea from me. They saw what I did on my album, on Back to You. And I kind of, pled ignorance and just, I just kind of did it. I didn't ask anybody's permission. That was originally, Back to You, I had done a demo at home, but that was an official photo session.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And it just it didn't come out because there was never any room for guitar. So it never could be a Toto thing, but I, had all the slaves and all the tracks with my brother's Jeff on, with all his drums on separate tracks and Mike's bass and everything. And it just, the song was never really finished, was never really finessed. But you know what I mean? They saw how I just grabbed Jeff's drum tracks and Mike's bass tracks and boom, and I just finished it. I rewrote lyrics and put a vocal on it and changed the form even. I added a bridge that wasn't there, a whole breakdown. Why not, and they saw that I did that, and then they really started thinking about, some of these things that were never, that we never finished because other things just were, were more complete, as we went on or whatever, and then there'd always be so much new material. It's not like anyone ever said, hey, what about those old tunes? You know what I mean?
Right.
That we didn't finish. There was always new stuff, there were so many writers in the band. So, there was never really much looking back at all.
And the groove is unmistakably Jeff and Mike. I mean, it really does sound from that period. Could you talk a little bit about the synth parts?
About the synth part? Sure. On this one you're talking about, God, the rough title of it was just Puffy for some strange reason. For years. And it wound up being Spanish C here, once we wrote lyrics and stuff to it. But the synth part, I came up with that was all pretty fresh and new, most of that stuff. As far as the solo section went and all that, that was all, stuff I just did that, very recently.
Wow. Okay. Very good. So the third track on the 40 Trips Around the Sun, which comes out Friday, is, let's see what that is, because I don't remember what it is. No, Struck by Lightning.
What is the third track?
I think it's Struck by Lightning.
Struck by Lightning, yeah, it's gonna be a very real hard rocker,
What's the origin of that one?
Again, that was just a brand new one that I think, the guys just kind of, Luke came in with this very tough guitar riff,
I think that's the only one
song I think it is.
Yeah, that's the only one I haven't heard, so I don't know any of the parts to it.
Yeah. You're gonna like my song, Preston. You're gonna like my tune, Chase the Rain.
So well, let's move to that one then, because Chase the Rain's coming out with the other 6 on the box set. What can you tell us about
Yes,
the
and
box
then
set?
it will be released, it will be released, I think, as a single disc as well. The newest 9 tunes, these 9 tunes, the 5 old ones and the 4 new ones.
Mhm.
I believe they're putting them out on a separate disc, but I think they're first going to see light of day with the box set. It's kind of a carrot, that people throw down for the box set.
And the box set's going to cover all your Columbia years?
Yes. It's going to include, we went in, the 4 of us went in and song by song remastered every record in the catalog. And so that's going to be in there too. All the, the box set, all the things are newly remastered.
Okay. For Chase the Rain,
Mhm.
how did that start off? How'd you come up with that?
It was just me. I had finished my record. I finished my solo album and was doing a whole bunch of total work. And I was kind of a little disheartened because, I was hoping that my CD would do better than it did. It was a bit of a blow to the ego. And I was just kind of back with Toto, just keeping myself busy. And I hadn't written for a while. I just was kind of fried from working on my album. But I got an idea, and I just I threw the thing down real quick. The vocals, everything, like just this short chorus thing I had for this overlapping vocal thing I had, this idea with backgrounds and stuff. Anyway, it came out, and I played for the guys, and they loved it. And so we kind of put it in the mix there as far as, Luke wrote a verse, and Joseph helped me a lot with the lyrics and stuff like that. It became a bandwidth thing, but you'll be able to tell it's my baby. And I'm singing lead on it, and it's the only one I'm singing lead on, so that's the giveaway too.
Well, that's interesting because you mentioned your input in the lyrics in the bridge with regard to Spanish C, but that's a Page vocal.
Yeah, no, I actually, that was a lot of my, I gave a lot of input. Like I said, we were all in the room while all of this was written. No one, someone may have come in with something already done, but no one went off and wrote the lyrics by themselves.
Right.
And came back and said, "Hey guys, this is what it should be." We all wrote all the lyrics together, all 4 of us. So I actually had a lot of input lyric writing on some of the songs that, you know what I mean, maybe don't sound like they're in my wheelhouse. I definitely was, we were all bouncing off each other. It was really cool and really fun, and I loved it.
So with Chase the Rain, does that include, since that's a new track, is that all of just the 4 of you guys with Luke on bass, and do you remember who's on drums?
Yeah, no, actually, I think I'm on bass on Chase the Rain.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I wound up doing the bass on Chase the Rain.
A Moog? A Moog bass?
No, it wasn't Mo. So no.
Okay. You remember who's on drums?
One of my plugins.
Okay. And do you remember who did the drumming for Chase the Rain?
Chase the Rain, yeah, that was Shannon. Shannon Forster, the drummer over in Nashville for me. He did a great job. Shannon's my guy. I love the way Shannon plays drums. I love the way what he brings to the table and stuff.
Because I think with the exception of the program parts and Jeff's parts, he did all the drum work on your album.
Yeah, he did. He did. Sure did.
Great. So do you recall any of the other new tracks, the other remaining 5 on the box set?
Do I recall them?
Yes.
In the titles?
Yes.
Sure. Oh, there's a new one called Chelsea. That was kind of Joe's baby. Joe really ran with that one. We all kind of came up with it at the same time, but Joe really laid into the lyrics on Chelsea. Did an amazing job and with the vocal arrangements, and he engineered the whole thing himself. And Chelsea's going to be really strong. What else? Well, that's a new one. Chelsea's one of the new ones. Old ones. Sure. Hang on a second. Let's see here. I don't know if I'm supposed to be telling you what they are.
I can always call you back in a few months.
You know what I mean? No, but let me look here. Let me open up my projects drive and go to Toto 2017. Yeah, there's Which is Struck by Light. You know about that? Yeah, we do an old tune of mine. One of the ones with Jeff and Mike was a song called In a Little While. Actually, that was Jeff and Unge.
Oh, okay.
Within a little while. That was like a real old tune of mine that we do. And Lucas will want to sing lead on it.
Oh, okay.
You know, In a Little While is actually credited to me and David.
Mhm.
But that's Luke singing on it. Gonna be singing lead on it. And there's another one called Oh Why, a real old, you know what I mean, a real old one of David's. And it's very, very, you know, we just had this huge smile on our face working on it because it's that very early kind of Toto thing. It's just got this, the way Pace was writing then is very characteristic of the style he was writing in those days. It was great. There's a tune called Devil's Power.
Okay.
Big strong too. That's another one. Let's see. There's Chase the Rain. There's Chelsea, Struck by Lightning. In a Little While. Oh Why.
And Devil's Tower.
Oh, Fearful Heart. That's another one.
Okay.
There's Fearful Heart. There's Devil's Tower.
Mm-hmm.
There's Alone. Alone, you know about Alone. And Spanish Sea. Yeah, Devil's Tower is another one I forgot to mention. Yeah.
Okay, so I think
Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to be telling you all these titles or not. Those are all the titles on the new. Those are all the new stuff. And they've released 3, right? They've released Alone.
they released
Fantasy.
they released 2, and then Struck by Lightning comes out Friday with the album.
Oh, really? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think you get preview tracks of 2, and the last one comes out when the album comes
Oh,
out.
cool. So no one's heard Struck by Lightning yet.
No, I have not heard it. So if you don't want me to mention the other ones, I won't. I can hold
Well,
off
I
until.
don't know. You know, maybe they do want you to mention them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they do. I don't know. I guess I can check with Steve Parrish. Do you know who Steve is?
I don't know. No.
Or any of those guys? You know what? I'll check with them. But meanwhile, do whatever you're gonna do. You know, the other thing, Preston. I wanted to maybe, if you can promise me that it won't go any further, I'd love to shoot you an MP3 of Chase the Rain.
Absolutely. I won't pass it on to anyone.
You know what I mean? It's just for you to listen to, and I mean, you can play it for someone or whatever, but as long as it's not, not on a radio or anything like that, or any kind of, posted anywhere or anything like that,
And what I could probably do, Steve, like what I can do is I could divide this up into 2 interviews so that when the box set comes out, I have the information about the other tracks, which aren't going to be released on Friday.
Sure. Now, I don't know. Maybe they would want us probably the other stuff. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not sure. Let me just find out.
Okay, that sounds good. So let me shift gears a little bit because I want to get back. I want to get back to your solo career, but before I do that, I want to talk about your 2018 upcoming 40 trips around the sun tour because you're in rehearsals now.
We just finished rehearsals.
Oh, really?
We just finished rehearsals. The equipment left, but I still have my duplicate setup of my keyboard right here at home, and I'm working very hard. I'm trying to remember how to. You know what I mean? Remember how I'm going to pull these things off.
So it sounds as if you're going to be playing a few things you haven't played in a long time.
Yeah, well, not only that, but things I played very recently. Things like Alone. That, you know what I mean?
Right.
My process now for after I've worked on a song like that, and how to then figure out how to pull it off live with just 2 keyboards on stage.
So in terms of your setup, any changes from the last tour?
No, not really. Not really. Well, just, of course, the Yamaha would hate me if I didn't mention my new montages in the setup now.
Okay. So talk a little bit about the montage, if you could.
That's not. Between you and me, no, it's just, I'm not, what kind of interview is this? Is this print?
This is print, so this will be on the somethingelsreviews.com website.
Okay, so you can easily edit this. I'll be honest with you. Those most of the keyboards that I use on stage and that David used on stage they're just controllers.
Right.
Everything is MIDI and stuff like that. So I don't even use the sounds in the keyboards I have on stage.
Great.
The sounds of them don't enter into it at all, and so and as a matter of fact, Yamaha's kind of starting to piss me off because they don't like it when people like me do what I'm doing, which is, you know what I mean, triggering other things off stage. They've made these new montages. They've made their MIDI implementation limited right now, and that completely screws me up. You know,
Doesn't that mean you have to use more keyboards then, right?
yeah, you know what I mean. I would, you know, no. The thing is, I was just going to make me not use theirs anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's plenty of other keyboards that do exactly what I need them to do. It's just, you know, this is the company I've had a relationship with for, you know, 30 something years. You know what I mean? And you know, they were at the table when MIDI was invented. You know what I mean?
Right.
For them to put out a keyboard and not have it be fully, you know, implemented. You know, the faders, you know, have assignable MIDI controller numbers is ridiculous, and it's going to make it so I'm not able to use their stuff anymore. But we don't have to talk about that. So the montages are, you know, the main things that I use is the software called Mainstage, you know, from Apple. You know, that's Mainstage is the it's a real cool process now going compared to what I used to have to do. From when I go from you know, I'm able to open up our files of our sessions, you know, of the newest stuff that we did, and I'm able to see exactly what the parts were I played, regardless of how they were mixed in the record, and I'm able to see and copy exactly the sounds I used on the record, you know, and those same exact plugins work in Mainstage, you know, the ones that I used on the record, and it's making it real easy for me to, you know, recreate what I did on the records.
Wow, that's helpful. In terms of your set list, now you have the 3 new songs. I imagine you're going to do probably all 3 of those.
No, you'd be surprised. We almost weren't going to do. We were only going to do one of them at one point. You know, we added Spanish C at the last minute. It was the last thing we decided to add to the set.
That was like
Believe it or not, it's a very strange. Steve is Luke and the guys, we met quite a bit about this over the set list, and we really want to, you know, the back and forth within the band was, do you do a set list for the fans, for the people that have been real loyal and always come, you know what I mean, and have heard the typical Toto set a million times, and do we give them like a real different set and definitely things they've never heard before and a lot of that stuff? Or do you just put together the best set? You know what I mean? Figuring, you know what I mean, for the casual listener, for the friends that are dragged to the concert, you know what I mean, who maybe don't know or care about Toto's deep catalog and just kind of want to hear anything vaguely familiar, whether it's 99 or Georgie Porgy or, you know, I'll be over you and I won't hold you back, and, you know, I mean, things that were considered quote unquote hits, but we don't feel the need like we have to play those at every concert. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the thing about Toto is you have such a deep repertoire, and also I think the issue too is that the European fans probably have a better understanding of Toto music than the American fans do. They know the deeper cuts better than we do.
Yeah, well, especially the later things too, right? Because they kind of stayed at the party. You know what I mean? Even when Toto couldn't get arrested in the States, as far as touring and selling records, they were still selling records and touring in Europe and Japan. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's certain songs, believe me, that would come up in the set, and I would kind of go, God, do we have to do this? And Luke would go, oh, yeah, it was, you know, he was gigantic in Europe in the summer of whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, you know, I didn't even register here in the States. It's like, oh, okay, you know. But anyway, so where it wound up is being heavily on the side of, you know, the deep album cuts for the fans. So I hope they enjoy it, because it's a lot of work. You know what I mean? Doing older stuff and you know, the newer stuff makes it easy.
Well,
I love it though, because like I said, the way the tools I have now, the software I have now, it kind of makes it a lot more sane of a process than it used to be. And I actually enjoy it. I have fun in doing it, figuring out. It's like a puzzle that I'm good at. Yeah.
Well, the last tour seemed even more diverse than the tour before. I mean, last tour you pulled out, you did Great Expectations again, but then you did Chinatown. which I was amazed by that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been getting with the VIP thing, a lot of people would bring up Chinatown. That's why it really kind of stuck in everyone's head I don't know, we just like playing it. It was such an old style Toto group. Again, that was one of those very, very first demos that Jeff and David did.
Great. And in terms of your backing musicians, it'll be the same, too. It'll be Shem and there's a sax player's name I don't recall.
Warren Ham.
Warren Ham. How could I forget him? Yeah. So great.
Yeah, and Les Castro and Shannon Forrest.
Fantastic. Yes, absolutely.
We're loving Shem being in the band. I just love there being a male, a real true tenor.
Strong tenor.
Singing the high vocal parts, just like on the records. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've always hated having some poor guy either singing falsetto up there or having a girl singing those parts. You know what I mean? And it's nice to have a girl with us when we're doing things like Georgie Porgy and stuff like that. But our background vocals, we're all, you know what I mean? We're all male on most records. And
Tim Schmidt, Bobby,
Yeah, with Shem, we'd always brought in a guy, whether it was Tom Kelly, whether it was who was our buddy from the Eagles,
Timothy B. Schmidt.
We always brought in a real tenor as a ringer, because none of us were that guy, so we always brought that in when we were making records to make the records as good as they could be. But so it's nice to have Shem, to hear those parts the way they're supposed to be sung, nice and loud and proud and in tune,
Well, speaking of vocals, on the tour before last, you sang Ben. On the last tour for America, you didn't sing any of your songs. What about this tour?
Yeah, no, I'm not singing anything. I really can't. I watch these YouTube things and it's really tough for me. It's really tough for me to have things out there that are so inferior in quality and stuff. If I thought I had if my voice had some kind of magical Tom Waits kind of character that made it worth it, that would be one thing. But I'm trying to sing in tune and stuff, and I'm just not a singer, and it's just really hard for me to you know what I mean? It makes me not enjoy the concerts. I understand there's people out there that like it when I sing. I get it, but if you knew the horror I go through, when I'm performing live and I have to look at the set list, if I saw the thing is somewhere down in the middle, I've got like it feels like I'm trying to swallow a grapefruit through the whole show, until that song is behind me. It's really not fun for me.
Well, I mean, I appreciate that, but I saw you guys twice when you did Bend in America, and most of the fans had never heard the song because it's not in the album, but the fans loved that version. It was fantastic. And then I think I talked to Mike Sherwood about this probably last year before last, about the little things. I know he didn't co-write it, but he was so complimentary of your vocal on that song. It's a wonderful, tender, poignant song.
Yes.
Which has never been done live.
Yes, and you got to understand, okay? Now, you have to understand. I want to explain this to you, that especially, I'm glad you brought that up, the little things, okay? Because that's a perfect example of the fact that my voice is, and I know people have trouble grasping this, but my voice that you hear on a record, like the little things, is totally a product of the studio. It's totally a product of studio magic. There's to be honest with you, there's nothing. I mean, you can hear how it's authentic in the fact that the emotion is authentic. I don't care how much it's fixed. When I'm singing the lyrics and it's the melody and it's something that really, you can tell that it's real for me, but there's nothing at all authentic about the performance. You know what I mean? No one's putting a mic up and going, Steve, be your best Bob Dylan self and let's capture a performance of this artist. None of that is going on at all, okay? That's me in there spending hours and hours and hours rapping and singing and fucking with Melodyne and auto, whatever kind of thing to fix my pitch and have it be acceptable. I live for that stuff. Because the thing is, Preston, the amount of time it took me to do like Taking It Back and It's a Feeling, how long it took me to do perfect triples in the studio. That's not artistic stuff. That's just
a grind.
drudgery. It's drudgery, but it was worth it to me because I loved what the finished product would be. I thought it sounded cool. You know what I mean? I would dig it for a record. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It was this product of the studio, of double, of tripling it and perfecting it and doing this Steely Dan kind of perfection on 3 vocal tracks and taking literally weeks and shit. You know what I mean? And I loved what the finished product was, but there was no joy in doing that for me. You know what I mean? There's nothing artistic about it. There's nothing authentic about it. It's just this effect I was going for on my songs, and I thought my voice was the best way to get it. But when all of a sudden you're jumping over to live performance stuff, it's like, oh my God, it just, you know what I mean?
Right, I do.
And believe me, I would love nothing more than to be up there belting out my tunes to my adoring fans and making eye contact with a pretty girl in row 4. You know what I mean? But it's horror for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right, I understand.
It's a horror show for me. I'm so, and all I'm thinking about is, back in the day, right? If you totally stepped on your dick live, okay. So you embarrassed yourself in front of 10,000 people, okay? You eventually get over it. Now it's fucking global. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
It's global. It's on YouTube for the world to see, and for my, you know what I mean? For people to be commenting on for the rest of my life. So
I appreciate that, Steve. Thanks for sharing. If I could
I'm
have,
just being, I get it. I you know what? And the one song I really kind of I can see myself singing again is something like Ben. You know what I mean? I love the message of Ben. You know what I mean? It's real low in my range. It's real kind of doable. The band's not wailing away. You know what I mean?
yes, I do.
It's but we just wanted to do something different. I've been doing it for a while, and it's time to do something different. But as far as Taking It Back, which I did on a couple tours, It's a Feeling I did for a while, I'm just not that guy. I wish to God I was.
Well, thank you for that. If I could just wrap up with talking a little bit about Someday Somehow, because the album was extremely well received by people who listened to it. And I know that you and Michael Sherwood put a lot of painstaking effort in it. Are you considering a follow-up?
Oh, hell yeah, absolutely. It's, you know what I mean? Especially a guy like me, to be completely honest with you, it's like, you always wonder, what's it going to be like if I release a solo album?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you also, you know what I mean? I have my own studio in my backyard. That's, the only thing I ever wanted in life was to be able to record whatever I wanted to. And you start wondering, can I just exist? Can I pay my bills just sitting here and making my music, doing exactly what I want to do? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Having complete control over my music. And if I put it out, will enough people buy it so I can just keep doing that? It's just real simple. And the short answer is no. You know what I mean? I'm just the way the business is, the way, just the way it works these days. It isn't something I'm able to live off of, unfortunately, but that doesn't deter me at all from the fact that I love finishing those songs. Just the whether I put together 9 songs again or 10 songs or whatever it was, whether I do that all at once again, like everyone these days, sure, I'll just want to do like 3 at a time or something and release them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Release them 1 at a time. I don't know, but I definitely want to get him out there. I definitely love working with Mike Sherwood. He's, you know what I mean? he's a soul brother in a lot of ways. We're able to be each other's psychiatrist when we write songs.
He's
you know
quite a
what I mean?
character.
It's one of those things. He's quite a character. You know what I'm saying? Quite a character. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I can't wait to be able to do more. You know what I mean? And yeah, and I personally think I'm writing the best stuff I've ever written.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad you did the solo project. I'm so glad of your contributions to Toto in the studio. And of course, live has been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So I certainly appreciate that. Anything else you want to add?
that's it, man. I think we're are you good?
I'm good. This will come out. I'll hopefully get it up when the album comes out, and then I'll write a follow-up when the box set comes out too. But I really appreciate your time, Steve.
Great, Preston. I appreciate your input. All right, take care.
Absolutely. Take care of yourself. Bye.